little girl out of jail. That's all I give a damn about.
Je veux que tu m'aides à en finir. Tu entends?
Vega is a safe area under protection of the United Nations.
Kao čovek, kao general, garantujem sigurnost za svakog nevinog.
A Hollywood heavyweight decamps to Marseille for a subtle new thriller. François Ozon takes on a matter of life and death in his latest film and the horrors of the Yugoslavian war through the eyes of one compelling protagonist. That's all coming up in our weekly film show. And I'm joined by critic Lisa Nesselson for all of that. Hi, Lisa.
Hello, Olivia.
Now, we're starting with a film from Tom McCarthy starring Matt Damon, Stillwater. Now, this premiered at the Cannes Film Festival this year, and it was actually shot not too far away in Marseille. What did you think of it?
Well, although it's overlong, I like this more than I expected to, in large part because the structure is so smart and the acting is so good. We meet a stern Matt Damon as Bill Baker traveling from Stillwater, Oklahoma to France. We learn gradually, and this is what I mean by smart structure, that he's been here quite a few times because if he wants to visit his daughter Allison in prison, he has to go to a whole nother country. One where he doesn't speak the language or understand the customs. And he hasn't been a particularly good father, and he seems to want to make amends. He's far better at working on an oil rig or repairing fuses than he is at expressing his feelings. When he needs some translation help, he ends up enlisting English-speaking single mom Virginie, played with convincingly grounded flair by Camille Cotin. And it's not exactly boy meets girl, it's more like taciturn lug meets self-possessed girl.
Okay, well, let's hear from Camille Cotin about what it was like working with a bulked-up Matt Damon, and let's get a look at the film.
You're in Marseille for vacation?
Yeah, visiting my daughter.
You're the father of the girl, the American student?
Yes, ma'am.
He is exactly how you think he would be. He's easygoing, professional, and passionate about what he does. He was very concentrated and really took on the energy of his character. He disappeared into it, and over time, I forgot that he was in fact Matt Damon. He really became the character, especially with a physical transformation.
Police.
Did you ask her to lie?
I'm trying to get my little girl out of jail. That's all I give a damn about.
You sound very American right now.
Good, I am.
Yeah, and you're also a stranger here.
What did you do?
You just have to trust me.
So I read that the writers said they were inspired loosely for this film by the Amanda Knox story. And looking at that central character, Bill, I get the impression that he goes into a side of France that is quite far away from the tourist clichés.
Oh, this is resolutely not that typical tourist France, and that's a plus. There are some really tense scenes. There are some really sweet scenes. Bill will never be the same after his time in France, and for multiple reasons, most of them melancholy. The little girl who plays Virginie's daughter, Maya, she is just marvelous. One way of describing the narrative might be that it's about plotting a prison break through a mix of administrative tactics and freelance illegal moves. Bill believes his daughter is innocent of having killed her roommate and romantic partner, a murder that generated headlines because it involved two women, one a white American, the other a French woman of Arab heritage, and the film keeps us guessing.
Okay, intriguing. Now, another film that had its debut at Cannes this year, in July actually, was cut from a prolific French writer and director, François Ozon. Now, the film's called Everything Went Fine. It's adapted from the memoir written by the late Emmanuelle Bernheim about what happened when her father asked her to help him commit suicide. This can't be an easy topic to deal with.
No, but this is a special film. Novelist and screenwriter Emmanuelle Bernheim co-wrote several of director François Ozon's films, including Swimming Pool. She died in 2017, and now Ozon brings her memoir to the screen as a sort of tribute. It's also a good story. Bernheim's first-person account is very straightforward on the page and suspenseful, and Ozon has sort of captured that quality on screen. For the record, assisted suicide is illegal in France. So when Emmanuelle's father, following a stroke, marvelously played by André Dussolier, makes it very clear he wants his daughter's help in ending his physically compromised existence, well, it turns out to be quite an adventure. The film is about a learning curve, about using your smarts to outsmart a system that you're very much a part of. The logistics of transporting a live body a long way to a place where it can legally cease living, that would be Switzerland, and then returning the lifeless version to yet another spot are complicated, even without the emotional component. Dad is an art collector who married and had 2 children before figuring out he was gay. He's a man with a gift for creating emotional havoc, which he manages to do until the very end. He doesn't want to rage against the dying of the light. He just wants to turn the light off, damn it.
And there isn't a switch for that, apparently. Well, let's take a look at a clip of that film.
On pourrait choisir la date. Pourquoi pas en mars?
C'est la semaine de mon anniversaire.
Je peux presque plus bouger. Plus faire les gestes simples de la vie normale.
Maman, pourquoi est-ce que t'as jamais quitté papa avec tout ce qu'il t'a fait subir? Oh, qu'est-ce que ça fait du bien!
Ouais, mais t'es toute frigorifiée.
Non, mais je me sens vivante! Tu te rends compte? Ce qu'on est en train de faire pour lui, là?
On va te pleurer.
Now, given the subject matter, I would imagine this is not exactly a fun night at the movies.
Well, it's a serious topic, deadly serious, but there's plenty of humor and irony and conspiracy along the way. Most kids want to please their parents if they can, but this is quite a hurdle. If the daughters incriminate themselves, they'll be accessories to murder. Sophie Marceau and Geraldine Payas are very good as the daughters. She's not on screen for long, but man, oh man, is versatile Charlotte Rampling on a roll. Ozon arguably revived her career in 2000 with Under the Sand. This year alone, she's in this as Andre's dour and disappointed ex-wife, a successful sculptress, terrific as the Mother Superior in Paul Verhoeven's Benedetta, and scary as can be as a Bene Gesserit high priestess in Dune. And speaking of veteran actresses, Hannah Shigula is irreplaceable as a counselor from the Assisted Suicide Association.
Okay, well, to another film out this week in France. It's also Oscar-nominated. Quo Vadis, Aida takes us back to a very dark time in recent history here in Europe. Tell us more.
This is one of the most harrowing and involving films I've seen in a very long time. The director has made the travails of ex-Yugoslavia her specialty since her first film, Sarajevo Mon Amour, won the Golden Bear in Berlin in 2006. This is absolutely superb storytelling based on a true situation that's horrifying through and through. It's about the human side of war crimes, a topic that, alas, couldn't be more pertinent. Aida is an English teacher in Srebrenica who ends up working pretty much around the clock as an interpreter for the UN's understaffed and overworked Blue Helmets. It's July 1995, and the local residents and refugees from surrounding areas are justifiably terrified that the Serbian army is about to show up. The UN soldiers have instructions to do next to nothing, and their commanding officer has been left high and dry. Several years of civil war have taught the locals that the Serbs are intent on wiping them out. Aida comes to believe that the desperate crowds she's supposed to help keep calm are in mortal danger, and her husband and 2 sons don't qualify for any sort of UN safety net despite her position.
Definitely echoes of that story in current events at the moment. Well, let's take a look at the film.
Ljudi idu tamo gdje je bezbjedno.
They're killing people outside. I don't know where my family is. Свидимо. Tarik, свидимо. What will happen to us?
And that film, of course, a reminder that the siege of Sarajevo, the atrocities of Srebrenica, were geographically very close to us, but those horrors continued with little intervention from Europeans. And does the film manage to capture that feeling of desperation?
This film has a you are there quality that never lets up. The actress who plays Aida is so convincing. You just wish you could reach into the screen and help her family, make the horror stop, head it off at the pass, do something. Bosnia only makes one film a year, so I could joke that all of the films from Bosnia are written and directed by women. The raw material for this magnificent film wouldn't exist were it not for the deadly nationalist and religious convictions of certain men.
It sounds tragic, but definitely compelling. Now, on a much more hopeful note, the Paris Surf and Skateboard Film Festival is happening here in the French capital until September 26th.
Well, skateboarding is thriving in France. Relax, a Parisian girls-only skateboard club, is presenting Queen of the Road #3. Surfers and skateboarders are often militant in the fight against climate change and for sustainable technologies. Among the 15 films being shown is a portrait you can also watch online of Brazilian surfer Italo Ferreira, who is a gold medalist at the Tokyo Olympics, became the first ever Olympic champion in surfing. There will be a lecture by a specialist in the psychology of fashion, addressing how skate culture clothing held sway in the 1990s on the street and on screen. And you can even learn how surfboard builders in the Basque Country take an ecological approach to making those large, often beautiful, aerodynamic planks.
Oh, definitely one for those of us armchair skateboarders. Thank you very much for that roundup, Lisa. We'll leave you with a taste of the feature opening that festival, North Hollywood, by Mikey Alfred. Do remember to check out our website and our social media feeds for more arts and culture. There's more news coming up on France 24 just after this.
So little time and so much to do.
You gotta take care of us. All right.
Motherfuckers try to go pro, end up working at like a skate shop or some shit.
The hands move swiftly.
Look.